Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. Happy Halloween, okay? Couple of things. I kind of wish I had been a little more cognizant that when I kept writing October, I could have been doing Spooktober and just been doing haunted deck profiles all month. But so is the spilled milk, and there's no use crying over it. Instead, I'm going to make today a little extra spooky. With not only a deck that was something I was going to play-ish, but also when it was requested. So Mokuba, one of our viewers, requested, well, it was Adam on behalf of Mokuba, but requested that we go over the new Bones skill card from the Streets of Battle City, and we build a zombie deck based on it. Now, honestly speaking, 100% here, zombies is not the first thing I think about when I think of this skill card, but I found a way to make this work today. So let's do this. You activate this skill, you flip this skill over when you activate it. This is the Premature Material skill card. Once per duel, when you activate this, lose 800 life points. You'll notice it does not say pay. I'm not sure if that's going to be exploitable later, but lose 800 life points and reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck. Today, it's going to be the Great Mammoth of Goldfine. Then special summon one normal monster from the graveyard whose name is mentioned on the fusion monster card as material, but its attack and defense becomes 0. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a very, very pale comparison of the Premature Burial spell card. What's good is this isn't going to equip to the monster and like leave like an obvious exploitable through Dust Tornado and Cosmic Cyclone like weakness. Instead, we're going to zero the account out. So in another deck, I would use this because we need the monster for its name. Today, we're going to use the monster for tributes to help us get to the main card of our deck. So, just real quick, I'm going to show you guys the extra and the side deck first. And then we'll get you guys the main deck. So, one thing we are going to play is we have to play a Mammoth of Goldfine. So real quick, both monsters listed here as the material, the Snake Hair and Dragon Zombie, are both non-effect text normal monster cards. So this means we can play any amount of the two of them up to 6 copies in our deck, which is good and is going to be what we need. Outside of this, you will play the generically good stuff. You'll play one of the largest monsters in the game, one of the most technical in the game, the largest with piercing, one of the coolest with a spot destruction / damage effect, and for the last zone, we have our Ojama King. The monster that's normally here in this lineup would be the TI's Restrict, but again, maybe you've got the Thousand Eyes Restrict, maybe you don't have the Blue Eyes Ultimate. Go ahead, make the swaps. This is just a guideline, my friends. Just a guideline, and as such, it is meant to be modified later. And then the side deck is actually very intuitive too. We are going to use a single copy of Dahlgren of Mad Flame. We will use a copy of Lost Wind, 2 copies of Mind Crush. Again, it's very easy to call out things because there's a lot of tutoring going on. There's a lot of having to reveal the card when it's added to your hand. Not just that new psychic skill from Esperoba. So realistically, Mind Crush should start seeing more and more play. And then last up, this is how you're going to make the entire extra deck playable. It's going to be the Waking the Dragon. We're going to run 2. Again, this is one of the most common questions I get asked. How do you play the extra deck? If this set card in its owner's control, my control, has left the field because of an opponent's card effect, that's your effect, and is now either in my graveyard because you destroyed it, or is banished because Cosmic Cyclone, I now activate this card, and then I can special summon a monster from the deck or the extra deck. And it is important that you note that this is how I play these ones. And they're all good. They're all easy to get out. They're all self-explanatory once you know that. But Waking the Dragon is forever one of my favorite strategies because rather than just putting a side deck down and going, yeah, I got a side deck. It's 6 cards. See? We can actually threaten with those cards instead of it being like just an idle, like, will he or will he not play anything from that pile? And again, most players will just disregard it because a lot of players haven't read this. Okay, like the main way that Waking the Dragon was played in like regular modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to say was Don't quote me on this. I want to say it was Layer of Darkness. I want to say it had to do with Lady of Lament, which would be Lilith, I believe. And the whole point was like there was this one player that did this whole thing where it was like he's going to pick this and 2 torrential tributes. And now you have to play the mind game a step further, because when you select the card at random, the face down card for your opponent to set, they don't show you the other ones. So you don't actually know which one you've picked. So now, do you want to destroy what's more than likely a torrential tribute and risk playing a monster for free out of their deck or extra deck? Or do you let it go and work around it and fall into a torrential tribute? It's a beautiful mind game, but here in Speed Duel, the back row is very easy to destroy and everything. And so as long as you have cards that are threats in the back row, this is a great side deck tech. It always will be until it gets limited, but it's never going to get limited, so just keep playing it. Real quick, guys, screenshot and notes. I'll be back with the main deck in just a second. All right, to start off the main deck, we're going to start with the monsters. So first up, I'm going to start with 3 copies of our Dragon Zombie. Now, it is 3 stars. It is 16. It has 0 defense. It's okay. It's a terrible card normally. But we do need targets for the Mammoth of Gold Find, for the Premature material, in order to get where we're going. Being the stronger of the 2 materials, I place this one at 3. And I place the Snake Hair at 2. Snake Hair is a 4-star. Does have some defense points. Lowers the attack by 100. Goes down to 15. It's all good. It's all good. The real strategy here is playing this whole thing so I could play Ryokoki. And I'm pretty sure that's Koki. And if it's not, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So I'm sorry, but yes, that's Ryokoki. The way Ryokoki works, and again, perfect monster for Halloween. We've got a zombie, we have a literal Gorgon like Medusa, and now we've got a skeleton, like a bone skeleton zombie devil thing. This is sweet. It's a 6-star, 24 by 20. This is our boss monster card. The way this one works, at the end of the damage step, if we battle a warrior or a spellcaster, destroy the monster. So, Ryokoki does not have to survive said battle. He could fight with somebody who far outclasses him. He's still going to take the win by getting them off the field. So this is a very cool strategy. It does get past things like Cyber Dragon. It does match guys like Jinzo. But there's more. There's so much more. When we get into the spells, you guys will see. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tap into our 3-ups. We're going to run 2 copies Book of Moon. Now, we're doing Book of Moon, not just because they reprinted all the stuff for Dragon Caller with the errata, and the fact that since that's a thing, people are going to be playing that in your locals again. We're playing this because it does shut off a lot of stuff. If you don't want Breaker to break your back row because maybe there's something in there that you need, and there will be something that you need. This is a good way to shut Breaker off real quick. This is a good way to shut off anything that would normally beat Ryokoki, while simultaneously putting that card in defense. So, when he fights it, he would not be destroyed anyway because his opponent was in defense mode. This is very important. And I do understand there are some of you going right now, what if their typing's not warrior or spellcaster? Guys, don't get ahead of the video. But clearly we're going to be playing DNA surgery, right? That's why we need to protect the back row. So hold on a second. We'll get there. Next up, we need some 2-ups. Now, this is actually a point of contention for even me. I love Foolish Burial. I love Allure of Darkness. The problem with that is if we go ahead and we print out our list of the ban list, this is September 2023, we will notice that Allure and Foolish Burial are both in the 2-ups. So I can mix and match them, or I can play 2 of them. And honestly, a 20-card deck, and this being something I actually need to drive the strategy, I would need to be playing both at 2 to see like the best returns from it. So I went with the Foolish Burial for this video, since the whole point is to Premature material into Ryokoki. That's fine. Allure of Darkness can work just as well. You just have to work a little harder to get your monster in the discard pile to begin with. If you want to try a 1-in-1, definitely try the 1-in-1. Put it in the comments section after you play tested a little bit. Let me know how it worked out for you. That's all. But this is my base right here. So then the next card I'm going to run, 2 copies of Night Beam. I do need to make sure that my opponent isn't being too pesky with their back row. So that's going to be a thing. Next up, we're going to hit with a 1 of. We're going to use Offerings to the Doomed. Now, the reason we're using Offerings to the Doomed is, again, Jinzo. And there are plenty of things that are going to outclass everything in our deck. So in order to maintain a level of competitive ability, we need to be able to make sure that when there's something that we need to get got, we need to get it got off the field. And thinking about it right now, we could probably have used Tributes to the Doomed and turn these into allures. So at the end of this, I'm going to kind of do like a quick thing here mentally and just give you guys what my option would be, just like right off the cuff. This way you guys can mod it to do that too. Next up, 2 Shrinks. Again, quick play, spell. We do during the opponent's turn. It affects battle. There's times where Ryokoki will not outclass it normally, but this totally lets him take on anybody up to like almost 5,000 points. And again, the strongest monster in Speed Duel currently, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 45, half, it's like 2250. So again, Shrink, good call, great call. Traps, I'm going to be rocking 2 DNA surgeries. I kind of let this one out of the bag, but the goal here is we just call Warrior or we call Spellcaster. Whichever one is like more annoying for the opponent. Obviously, if you're playing up against like a whole like Marauding Captain, Command Knight tech build, just call Spellcaster. They don't block for anybody. Okay? I mean, Command Knight will still say that since there's another monster card, you got to attack somebody else. But Captain isn't defending anybody. Command Knight isn't giving anybody power-ups, including herself. So it's very versatile with the way the Ryokoki works and the way that the DNA surgery helps cope. So again, it's almost like it's being 2 traps in one. Last card for this is a copy of Lost Wind. And again, it's for the normal reasons. We can activate it multiple times in the game. Again, special summons, we tend not to want to let them have their effects and or their full stats because they're generally more buffed. So things we could do to change this. Because as I'm sitting here, and let me kind of go through the box with my left hand. One thing I didn't think about until, I started talking here was using Tribute to the Doomed instead. Because again, there's no rule against this. Using Tribute to the Doomed would just be a little slower, but a little slower in comparison to still loading our discard pile. And then using our Allures of Darkness instead of the Foolish Burials means that you could change the Foolish Burials to Allures real quick. And then probably go with... if you're going with the double Allure, you almost want to take a Ryokoki out. And you want to take maybe the Offerings or one of the Shrinks or a Night Beam. Or you want to take something else out. Maybe even just the Lost Wind. And then keep the rest of the spell lineup as is. Go Lost Wind and Ryu to Tributes. Go Foolishes to Allures. So those are also like a very valid option for you guys. And this should be a very spooky, very fun to play. And again, you could take this to locals. You might win a couple matches. It's not just a goofy, gimmicky deck. This is something that I think as we see more and more cards come into the game, and maybe this deck was a bad example of it, because I'm trying to use the skill card for Premature Material. But maybe as we get some more monster cards, Premature Material will become a better skill. And then again, trying to force it into a zombie build it feels right, but I know it can be better elsewhere. And I'm going to show you guys that another day. So for now, this is the deck. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Mokuba, I hope that you enjoy this. I hope you get the big bag of candy. Obviously. And I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. Again, I'll be back in a couple of days. I got a Tech Dinosaur coming up. Saturday, we're going to be playing this Magic Boy again. So I'm not quite done with Spellcasters yet. I think we got a request for like an entire week of Warrior builds. We still have a handful of skills that I haven't used at all yet from the new set. So We've got all that. There's plenty of things to update, guys. I can't wait to do all of it. If anything gets lost in the hustle and the rustle, please just re-request it. I mean, sometimes we just get too busy and things happen. So I do want to apologize for that. But I also want to know, I want you guys to know that, like, I thank you for everything that you guys do. You watch, you guys comment, you guys brighten up my day. You guys offer suggestions. Sometimes you guys offer entire deck lists. It's cool stuff. It's great stuff. And I'm just happy to be a part of this. So for now, you guys have a great day. See you next time. Later.